I, 16F, lost my virginity and my parents found out they are livid. They are making all kinds of threats and I don't know what to do. Read desk. 2 days ago I was texting the guy who took my virginity. Let's call him Nick. At 3 AM my parents have a software installed on my phone or some chip installed, and they get notified every time I open my phone and what app I'm on. I thought they were asleep, but they were not. They stormed into my room and took my phone over the rest of the night. They went through all my messages, Instagram chats, Snapchat, and somehow got into my eyes only and saw all of my nudes. I feel so violated. They found the chat with Nick and found out that we had had sex. Even though Nick and I are only friends right now, I care about him a lot and we are figuring out our feelings for each other. I reassured them that it was consensual, and he was very nice, but apparently, this was the wrong thing to say, because it meant I had enjoyed it, and wanted it. They are calling me a disgrace, and will not be giving me my phone back. They said I'm going to transfer to another school, and that I can never even talk to another boy again. They called me a disappointment, and could not believe me. My mother said one of the worst things I could do was lose it before marriage. They said I'm lucky to even be living in the house. I'm a wreck and don't know what to do. I don't want to go to another school. I want my phone back, and I want to be able to talk to my friends. I feel gross and dirty and feel like I've let them down. Please don't tell me it's my fault. I know it is. I knew how angry they would be, and I had sex anyway, and I know it was wrong of me. I just want them to see me as they did before. I want them to be proud of me like they used to. Please give me any advice. I can't ask my friends and I really don't know what to do. Edit. I didn't even think about possession of CP. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. I haven't sent it to anyone. They are just saved. And Nick is also 16 for anyone who's wondering. Oh, you poor thing. This breaks my heart. You have done nothing wrong. The whole construct of virginity is a sacred thing to be protected till marriage goes back to ensuring that a bride is pure. But you're not some ducking trophy to be protected so you can be presented to a future husband. It's an outdated and misogynistic way of looking at sex. Human sexuality should be celebrated. You should be taught how to express it safely and genuinely. Making sex taboo is the opposite of healthy. I feel gross and dirty. This has the potential to duck you up for life. I'm sure your parents are well intentioned, but the extent to which they are taking it is abusive. Imo. I don't have any advice for you, but I want you to know that you are perfectly normal and healthy. Please don't let them convince you that you're shameful or broken in some way. This is not your fault. 16 is a very normal age for people to lose their virginity, and your parents' reaction is not normal. I wish I had some useful advice to give you, as this is a horrible situation to be in, but don't blame yourself. Before marriage. This gives so many extremely Christian parent vibes. Having sex at your age is natural and fine, but, depending on your local laws, filming porn at your age is scarier than you think. If you or he sends that to someone over 18, at least where I live, they can be charged with possession of child pornography, and it can ruin their life. You producing child porn would be way scarier to me as a parent than you having safe consensual sex. Even if the boy is under 18, having her nudes on his phone is still possession of child pornography, and she is creating it. They can both get into shit for it. That is very dependent on where you live. Option definition. Check that out. But we shouldn't scare her by generalizing info that we know is true for our locations. Imagine shaming your child into making them feel dirty, instead of educating them and talking to them like the adult they're about to be. Wow. I'm infinitely sorry this is happening to you. It is not your fault. Shit like that can be really scaring. I've heard my mother yell at me and call me a disappointment. Told me that I was going astray over getting a letter in junior high from a boy saying he liked me. But when she saw the other letter, where the same boy called me disgusting after I didn't reply to his confession, I didn't care to have a relationship at such a young age and only kept the letters to write about what happened in my diary. She didn't say anything. At that time I realized that we had different views/priorities. She thought the first letter was more serious, which I get it. It's a serious issue to get in a relationship at such an age than the second, and she didn't believe my words. I thought, I see. She doesn't care. whether I may be getting bullied. She only cares whether or not I'm in a relationship, when I clearly told her I don't even want to be in one in the first place. Apostrophe. Some parents forget how much power their words hold. They are quick to jump into conclusions and tend to forget that their child is a separate being that may see the world differently. Not to mention that, when they were young, they also caused trouble one way or another. Reach out to a school counselor. Regardless of their beliefs, they should not be telling you that you are a disgrace to the family, making threats. This is abuse and not okay in many countries. Just because they're your parents and you're a minor, frankly it gives it more umph as abuse, because as a minor you have nowhere else to go. You can just as well say this to the counselor at your new school as well. Also no, especially because you're a minor, you cannot just be kicked out. You could walk into their bedroom, piss on their sheets while they freak out, and start snorting drugs off their dresser, and they still couldn't force you to live on the streets. You have rights as their child and as a resident of your home. I'm sorry. Know this. Wanting to have sex is perfectly natural. Worst thing you could do, my ass. I assume this is all over religion, and I can't speak for all beliefs, but because Christianity is common enough here, and I'm Christian myself, forgive the presumption. God forgives murderers. He most certainly understands people wanting and having sex at the point in our development he designed us to be. Commendable to make it to marriage as late as we have it relative to ancient times without having had sex, but it's the timing that is wrong, if anything, not the thing itself. And far from the worst thing you can do. Shame that people should so shame one another over this splinter, when there's one in their own eye. One's decidedly doing more damage to humanity is, well, shameful. Let he without sin throw the first stone. You shouldn't have been treated that way. Opus. I'm sorry for you and Nick both. Sorting by top, this is like the first comment I've seen that is actually somewhat useful. This happened to me, and it was terrible. My mom insulted me every single day for months. My mom took my phone, and still to this day never gave it back. I'm so sorry you're going through this, and I wish I could give you advice, but I just kinda waited until my mom moved on. But I do hope things get better for you, and don't try to take anything they say personal. My parents did the same thing, but instead of my phone they went through my room and found condoms. Try to go to therapy for yourself, that could help a lot. You're not dirt or gross. Your parents are saying that because you didn't do what they wanted, and instead of moving on from it they shamed you and made you feel gross when you're not, because like a lot of other people said it's normal to have sex at that age. Also then wanting it to be rape instead to consensual sex is absolutely disgusting, and I'm really sorry you have parents that rather have you get sexually assaulted than have consensual sex. If you're able to try to talk to someone you trust, and maybe stay a day or two at a family member's house, or a close family friend's house, preferably someone your parents know and have known for a while and trust, mainly because it won't add or add very little to this situation. You probably won't be able to talk to your parents about it. I know I wasn't able to, but please just talk to someone you trust about this situation. They might not be able to help, but just having some own support through all of this will help a lot. I also had a friend whose parents moved her to different schools when they found out she had a boyfriend, and jump forward a couple years, she's a teen mom and resents her parents. So with that, what you want you sit or don't, but people with parents who move them from school to school because they're interested in someone always ends in resentment and parents getting cut off. Highly doubt her parents are gonna put her through therapy for this. Prior comment says she's Indian, so they will want no one knowing it happened. And for many foreign families like mine, therapy doesn't exist. Op saving and sending nudes of her minor self is problematic and illegal. As a parent, I'd be more concerned about parental and op's respective criminal liability for that than about the sex. Yeah, unfortunately that's not op's parents' problem. Religious parents SMH. I'm surprised no one has said it yet, but if you have nudes at the age of 16, you are creating CP. No one should be telling you that this is your fault. Your parents are horribly intrusive, invasive, and abusive. You are 16. Exploring yourself sexually and doing normal things with people you like. As long as you are having safe sex and not producing child pornography, you're being responsible. My mother said one of the worst things I could do was lose it before marriage. You know what the actual worst thing would be? To marry someone you don't know if you're sexually compatible with, and having to live your whole life unfulfilled and unhappy. Why buy a car without a test drive first? They're stuck in a religious puritanical morality circle jerk, espousing values you clearly do not share. Unfortunately, she already stated she does have nudes of herself, so she's already crossed the CP line. I'd be more worried about that as a parent than anything. If every person that took and sent nudes when they were underage went to jail, we wouldn't have enough free people left. There's no fault or blame. You and Nick were both consenting, though this may depend on the laws of where you live. Your parents seem like real creeps and very rigid. They are checking every time you use your phone and what apps. This is unbelievably controlling. The no sex thing before marriage is absolutely medieval, and I presume they are religious. It's not healthy to control your behavior and your body like this. You have been very sensible with how you have conducted yourself, and your parents could learn from you. I'd sit them down and say, look, I know you're VWAS, but this is my body and life. You can respect the choices I'm making, especially when they are made sensibly, or you can rage about it and push me away. Also, who threatens their own child with homelessness or uprooting their lives just over something as normal as sex? I'm just going to pipe up to say delete all your photos, just in case, and have him delete any if he did receive any. Also, just in case, if they wanted to screw him over. That's how they do it. Also, in general though, given the type of environment you seem to be in, it's probably the best idea just not to take any of those types of photos unless you are of age and completely independent. They sound ridiculous. So if they don't calm down, you'll probably just have to continue to weather the storm and hide that part of your life from them completely. Just because some people get twisted easily. I'll say it clearly, I'm not saying you did anything wrong. Info: how old is Nick? Unfortunately, neither you nor they can put this genie back into the bottle. They are also seem to be of the opinion that there are 100% girls in the world and no boys. Also, you are not ruined for not being a virgin. But if that is how you were brought up with the restrictions, control and overwatch, I'm not surprised you rebelled. You will have to wait until they calm down, work hard and be invisible, or rebel and leave. You will be punished either way. You seem to be feeling very sad that they no longer see you as before. But you decided not to be that person already, and secrecy with parents like this was never going to work long term. Have a long think about why you did this, and if you really want to be the good girl for the next 2 years, or whatever, then be good. Do as you are told. Go along with all the rules, etc. Never is a long time, and generally statements like that don't work once they need to contact you via phone at school, etc. My mother said one of the worst things I could do was lose it before marriage. So they're telling you'll need to transfer schools and never talk to boys because they think that will help you get your virginity back. They needed to talk to you about this stuff before you had sex. I wish parents had more sense about this stuff. You're a horny teenager and your parents are seriously naive enough to believe you'd repress hormones? They are so out of touch with reality. Sorry you're going through this. Your parents seem to be very manipulative. First of all, it's not healthy for them to check everything you do on your phone. You allow to have privacy. Second of all, losing your virginity is not a wrong thing. What you did was consensual, and it was not even a mistake, so how could it be your fault? Your parents are not overreacting. They do not accept that you are your own person, with her own personality and her own life. They do not want you to have control in any way, because they want to control you. But it is your body, your relationship. Those are choices, and you should not feel guilty about it. Be proud of yourself. Understand that you're not a monster and your choices are yours to make. When you'll be able to run away from them and to find independence, do so. Stay strong. How are you able to post to Reddit, but not be able to access other social media, to talk to your friends? Anyway, sex at 16 age is not something out of this world. Pregnancy, STIs are a concern and something you should take every precaution to avoid, but no one deserves to be treated this way. They are so overreacting. I lost my virginity at 16 too. A lot of people do. I'm sorry they're being this way. But having sex doesn't make you a bad person. Me too, and that was late for my friend group. What was their average? People are going to tell you that sex at your age is normal and nothing to be ashamed of, and that's true. Another truth is that sex has consequences, good and bad. Your parents are terrified of and want to protect you from the bad consequences. Wait for them to calm down and hopefully talk about getting your phone back and staying in your school then. No, this is not your fault. I'm a 50-year-old woman, so not young or inexperienced. Virginity truly is a social construct. Women are just as sexual as men and just as entitled to engage and enjoy consensual sex without being guilted, shamed, or punished. You did nothing wrong. You has every right to make decisions regarding your sex life. I'm so sorry that your parents are treating you this way. I suspect that one day they may regret it, but in the interim, don't let them color your view on yourself or your choices. How independent are you? Do you have your own $ job source of income? For the sake of your mental health, you either need to move out or play their game long enough to find better options. My advice is to move out for college. The sex was consensual. More importantly, I hope you were safe. What bothers me is why are you sending nudes? Please be careful with this. I know that it's the popular thing to do, but you are friends. But you're friends right now doesn't mean you will be friends in the future, and what he might do with the pics. And this isn't just him. For anyone in the future you send pics to. Not saying what you did was right, but just give them time. They are still mad, but eventually they will come around and forgive you. Hugs. Are your parents religious by any chance? Usually that kind of sex shaming comes from religion. This is ridiculous. Honestly, I mean, I can understand them being disappointed, hurt, and upset, but telling you that you're a disgrace and this is the worst thing you could have done? Life is about learning, making mistakes, figuring things out for yourself. BC, you're the only person that can live your life. I'm so sorry for you. From the bottom of my heart, the only advice I can give you is to try and earn their trust if you really want to mend the relationship. Even if you have to pretend to not be into boys anymore and dedicated to the things they ask of you in order to get your freedom and phone back. I've been in a similar position, but I didn't lose my virginity. But either way I was kicked out. So, I can feel for you. I don't agree with the harsh treatment, and I think you can gradually work your way back into their favor by either talking to them about it or what I stated previously. Again, I'm sorry you have to go through this. You must feel terrible. You literally did absolutely nothing wrong. 16 is a sucky age because you're so close to being an adult, but you're still treated like a child. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.